All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel and to another reaction here. Let's see here. Let me just make sure I'm in the frame right. All right, so uh, this is, of course, the Superman sneak peek, is what they're calling it. It's really just an extended part of the scene for the extended portion of the trailer, if that makes sense. So the 2 minute and 20-second trailer started out with exactly what we're going to start out with again. Slight shot difference. I grant you there are some minor things that are in this, and then it's about 2 minutes longer, therefore, at the beginning, and 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 allows the scene to play. I was listening to an interview with the cast and James Gunn there, and he said that it's mostly like the opening, but it's not exactly. So the way I took it, at least, was it's not just from the beginning like this is the opening DC Studios, and then it cuts in just a moment. We'll see. Though I've got the volume off. Um, in fact, let me do this. Let's see this. See if we can flip this thing. I think the way to flip it is to go this way. Yeah. And then come over here. Where it was. Alright. So, you can see DC Studios just the way I would see it, basically. Yeah. We'll give it about that size. Um, mm, there we go. So yeah, this is, like I said, the extended. Uh, the way I understood what he was saying was it's closer to what the opening is, but not completely. Um, so I assume there's a few little cuts in there and a few things that are different. And let's go ahead and just jump over here to this one. This is the trailer. So you notice it opens on this shot here. So I assume he means things like that. There's little things in there that are not there in this uh, version. I've got it at, I'm supposed to have it at this 0.25 speed. So I'm going to watch it really slowly going through. So I'm going to go ahead and let it start playing in the opening. And it's beautiful shots, and there's beautiful colors to it, all of that. The, I don't see a problem with that. I did listen to probably a dozen reactions, and it is amazing the kind of reactions that I'm hearing to me. Now I'm a huge fan of Snyder, and I have my problems with this movie in part because of the um, Henry Cavill issue, um, the uh, the Man of Steel and Warner Brothers before, how they should have done right. I have my issues with this film because of that. And some people would say that's not the right way to handle things. Well, that's not necessarily true. You can, you know, there's, there's, it's an honest position for me that you just, there's things that are in this movie. Um, hmm, and I'm not sure how to explain it, but anyway, I got to pause right now at a place I was going to mention this. This looks like, to me, it looks like a marker for him. He's currently, whether he was punched or he's flying, I'm assuming he's flying, hurt and trying to just get up either to the Arctic, or he's going to the Antarctic, whichever one it is. Um, Arctic is, normal. The Donner film said north and going north and all that. So that's certainly acceptable. There is a possibility. Of course, it could be in the Antarctic. Um, and I wouldn't see a problem with that either. But like I said, this looks to me like it could be a marker. Just part of the structure exists above ground, the Fortress of Solitude. And I'm assuming that most people have already watched this, um, and so they know what's about to happen. And I'm going to kind of let it play while I'm saying this. The people were debating, too many people were trying to say that there are these Snyder fanatics or Snyder cultists, whatever they want to call people that enjoy the Snyder films, and they are criticizing this movie or this trailer and the promotional material and all of that so badly and all this stuff. And it's amazing. To me, they're groveling. They are just they have no real good cause for this to um not criticize certain things, and so they refuse to criticize it, and they've got to find a way to make it make sense. To me, that's just disingenuous. I understand it. As it's coming in here, my first comment is, like I said, beautiful stuff. There's lots of stuff that's beautiful. I love the colors. Don't sit there and say that I hate on the suit because of colors. There's a bagginess to the suit. It doesn't look well. It doesn't look good. There's a thickness to the suit that doesn't make it look good. It makes him look like dad bod Superman. And he has got beatings on his face. He's, bloodied. He's bleeding out of his mouth. He's got a split lip. You're going to see here in a moment um, um, not to say a broken nose, but a laceration or whatever on his nose. But no damage, no damage, no damage to the suit. Makes no sense to me. Somebody get to them. Tell them to tear the suit to pieces or put it in some shreds. Okay? You're going to see in a moment, you know this already, that they are showing. It's got, I think maybe there's more bruising shown on the right side of his face there. Again, I'm fine with this. It doesn't bother me that this scene is going to be in the movie, that there's going to be something to this effect. Okay? The part that bothers me is his suit can take far more than he can take. Are you serious? That bugs me. It just, and it's not an illegitimate criticism. It is seriously, I don't like the suit in several aspects, uh, and mainly the bagginess of it. But my dislike for this scene is in not making sense with the suit. The suit should be tattered, should be torn. It just ought to be. I think I'm going to speed it up just to get it to, let's say, half speed. And of course, this to me is a beautiful shot. It seems to me he might be taking a little bit too long to get there and to, kick up that much dust, but who knows? And this makes a little bit more sense than the original trailer did. Him jumping and making a leap somewhere, but that doesn't necessarily make sense. And look at the suit, y'all look at it yourself. That is, it's exactly what I'm saying it is, and it ought to be torn up. It ought to be torn up if he's beaten up this badly by whoever he's beaten up by. The playfulness stuff, it's a choice. I appreciate what different people are saying. Most people are just getting their kicks out of it and laughing and stuff like that. When I saw it, yeah, it's got humor to it. There's a cuteness to the dog being playful and all of that. The dog is bigger than I was expecting it to be. I'm thinking this is a smaller dog, but ultimately, you saw the size of the dog. See right there, he looks like he's a smaller dog, but that may just be the way the shot is formed. Um, as far as just how large he is, but he certainly um, seems to be almost half Superman size. Pretty big. And there's a better shot, an angle straight above to see the actual size of the dog. So this was cut is slightly recut or differed. Not I said different. It's different right here. They go back to the original trailer. It's a little bit more of a moment there, and I prefer that to this, where it's a lot quicker snap to grab the cape and start going. And the shot of this is a new. Um, I've never seen before where the fortress is hiding, underneath the ground. Makes sense. I'm fine with it. It's a, to me, lovely shot. Very pretty. Um, the angles kind of confused me a little bit, and he's going up to what ultimately is the doggy door of the Fortress of Solitude. And drags him along. It does play humorous. There's some sounds when he pulls Superman. Um, first begins to pull him. There's a sound that's made. There's a whooshing sound that sounds comical. It sounds cartoonish or something like that. It I don't know. It just didn't seem realistic. Now I believe they also changed a little bits of the sounds. I think the whistle is different and all that. Um, this automat- automaton, of course, coming up said Superman, and he is number 4. I think that I heard somebody try to like they were naming these automatons. I'm not sure if this is going to give me the closed captions or not, but we'll see. Um, oh yeah, it is. Thank you. So we wrote number 4. Now, of course, he talks like they don't have any consciousness whatsoever and stuff like that. Superman, I don't know, is making a face. It seems like he's saying that's his personality. I understand all that. Meet 12. Somebody said another name like Quarton or something like that. It was really strange. This girl robot that's new, of course, seems to say something that is contrary to the first robot speaking. Now this is that was a little strange. It's kind of hard to see from the size of that and all that. The I'm gonna leave that alone. The the fractures or the damage and all that stuff. I kind of think that they could adjust that. I think he said 14 bones. I think they said 14 bones broken. Let me go back because we can do that. Put it there. She's new. Um, she giggles, and there's some people maybe criticizing that. I won't criticize it as much. 14 fractured bones, damage to bladder, kidney, large intestines, lungs. See all that should be tears in that suit. That suit should be in ruins. Okay, maybe not completely torn apart. Just give it some rips and stuff. Show that that's the damage, and then therefore, I assume some bruised ribs. Show some bruising and all that. Say, well, you can't do that for this movie. It's going to be a kids movie or kid friendly, and of course, it's in front of the Minecraft movie that they're playing this trailer. I'm just gonna call it an extended trailer because once it gets past this opening 3 or so minutes, it just goes into essentially the trailer with little parts that are like a 24th of a second longer or moved one way or another, which I will talk about. And I understand the screaming. I understand that. I don't think necessarily the robots should be the ones holding down Superman. Maybe it should have been done differently. I don't think they've changed that at all, and I still say her neck is snapped. He turns and is able to say he's back. So, like I said, gives it that half second more, just a little bit more right there in the shot of the fire. There's, I don't think there's anything more there or anything said. I will note cows move in this one. You see a hint of a smile on David Cornsfoot at the very beginning of that shot between the two of them. A hint of a smile. Um, and of course, there's a little bit different shot there. You got the coffee cup and the beam of green. And that shot right there of the kissing's a different angle and different moment. There's like a slight difference there where he's coming out. I'm gonna back that up though, since we're not in it. Oh no, what is going on here? Put that back up there. Thank you. All right, let's play. I'm not gonna dwell long. See, the beam starts. Coffee cup, different shot, slightly there. It's not that it's a different shot. It's a little bit longer, so it shows more of that going on. I think a little bit of that's slightly different, only so slightly. Okay, that doesn't give you enough of a view to see what's going on as far as the burn and the charred suit and stuff. A little bit more here. His gun. He moves his gun all the way over here. Now, there was the sound of somebody saying Superman when Lex Luthor did that flinch of his face and movement of his gun. So there might be something with that. I want to say that arm moved slightly on that automaton at that moment. Wonder if that's the new one or the four. Who knows? Now, of course, it's just it's essentially the same. I don't see any differences there. And of course, they changed a little bit of this part rather than the way it ended last time, as it were. Theaters July 11th, the film for IMAX, and so forth. Now, my preference, like I said, my goodness, just get in here, think about it for just a moment. Torn suit, obvious. Just please do it. And you don't have to make it bloody or anything like that, or cuts and lacerations on his body, but you could, whatever you want to do at that point. But to have bruised face and just pristine suit just makes no sense. I don't think. I would say that the choice of this continuing, as long as it continues, is, and I know I've got it on slow mo, but still, as long as it continues, is a bad choice. Okay, that's my opinion. Grabbing his, I mean, it could be done that way. It could be done with less um, stopping a little bit faster. It's like in this moment is what I was looking for before. The moment of reality that he says, wait a minute, something's wrong. And I think it could happen faster. And I think a lot of fans think it could happen faster. Um, you can certainly give it a pass by trying to say that the dog is a bad dog, that the dog is mischievous, that the dog is a problem dog, um, as a rescue dog and stuff like that. Um, there's a lot of possible ways you could say, well, we'll give it a pass that this dog doesn't really know what's going on, has never seen Superman this way, and so forth. I'll do that. Do you want me to give you a pass and say, okay, go ahead, that's fine? Sure, for that, because of that. But upon seeing it at first, I was like, that is uh, uh, disheartening to me. Because to me, the original trailer has him jump up and in front of Superman's face, and you didn't see any recognition of the problem, any sympathy to begin with. Now you've expanded that to, ow, he's hurting Superman even worse. Um, so I think a little less. Less is more, perhaps. Okay, you want to be comedic about it? That's a choice. Um, but I'll leave it at that for that particular thing. Yeah, I called this the doggy door. I understand it's probably the main door. I've got no issues with him. That is, Krypto being able to bark for it to open. Um, Certain parts of these shots look better for the suit. Not as bad, but still, it's not that great. Um, it's not that I don't want. I could care less one way or another for the shorts, the trunks to be on the Superman outfit. I grew up with him having trunks, but the size of them makes a difference. I don't think should be too small. I think Brandon Routh's was too small in Superman Returns, and I think these are too large. And that's the way I see it. A little bit smaller probably would have worked a little better, but of course the whole suit has this bagginess to it, and you can look at it again yourself. This look that there looks better. Of course, you don't see any of the muscular definition of David Cornsweet. Again, this hologram uh, view of um, parts and pieces, broken ribs, looks like arm, shoulder, femur there. That looks cool. It might be better, and it possibly is in the movie that there's a close up shot of that to see more of the damage, and they name more damage than what I could see in that quick shot. And of course, this is cool here. The fortress is turning somehow. I don't know the mechanics of it all, and there, but it is cool that it turns like the David Copperfield's stages, for like Statue of Liberty and stuff. Um, you knew how that worked. Don't act like you didn't. Um, and then of course the sunbeam. I just think probably he could have been strapped down. Um, but it's okay. I can assume that he's trying to hold himself down, and them helping him to hold himself down is what. Oh my goodness! I snapped that girl's neck. Please fix that. You yeah. This I think that Lex Luthor should have reacted instead of turning the opposite direction. Should kind of followed him across the sky. There's not much given this. It's kind of cuts out uh, parts that are there. Oh, yes, every cow moves in this. They heard me say that those cows were not there. That's a couple seconds difference as far as that. You saw that smile, I think. Let's see if we can pause it just in time here. All right, we got this. And I don't see any differences there. This is possible. This shot slightly early. I saw that cow's ear moved, which it did not before. I did go back and watch and saw this cow's leg moves, but I believe they uploaded a newer version of the trailer after I had looked at it the first time. Going on, that cow's head moves down. All right, so back it up just a bit. Saw that smile? Did you see it? You can see his dimples a little better. Just before that, it looks like Jonathan might be smiling as well. Paul Kent. And then it goes into whatever's going on where there's no smile at all. So that's our first glimpse of a smirk or smile from, well, I take that back because as he's looking at her, the new 12, he gives her a little smirk, as it were, in this shot right here. So you get a couple of little smirks from our man Superman, right? Um, but I don't think any of these criticisms are illegitimate. I think that people that are too harsh will be, perhaps shown to be too harsh at some point. Be interesting to find out why that's all going on behind them and nothing for Superman to do. And of course, this part here. Oh, yeah, this part here after saying look up is from the teaser that wasn't in the trailer. This little more section would be interesting to find out what all goes on there. Um, and I know there was a chanting of Superman when he busted through the glass too. Uh, and of course, to see this in its context will be interesting. Yeah, this arm is moving. I don't remember it moving in the other trailer. And again, most of this is still the other trailer, slightly different cuts or time frames for the cuts and stuff like that. So, cut over to. Yeah, it cuts out this whole section right there. So, cuts out Ultraman being in Okay, well, let me put it right here. Oh, got it on normal speed. Good. Alright. And I said this part there is just a little before that. There we go. Let's go back to slower speed. Back up. Yeah, see, there's no movement. I would assume it's a little bit longer second or a little bit differently. I mean, and like I said, I watched a lot. Let me see this too. A lot of the reactions, and I'm fine. People want to be really excited about the movie, while they give us such. I mean, to me, there's very, very poor. Um, that was unusual. The way the blink was, or whatever, and there was a different blink, as it were. Oh, okay. So it'll be interesting. I like to look at things like that in the special effects and see what they're doing with it all. But um, I was saying um, hmm, kind of lost my thought, and that's okay. But what I was saying was, um, there's reactions to what you see, and there's just this fake reactions. I think to just say everything I say, I absolutely love. I mean, just come on now. It's be honest with your reactions. Is really what I'm saying. And don't pretend like somebody else has an invalid criticism. Um, the criticism itself might be valid, and the extremity might not be valid. So the response to it at times is a little bit invalid. While at the same time, it can be valid to defend what's going on. You know what I mean? So the extremity is the problem. Um, like I said, there's a few things that I think would be better one way or another. I'm again fine that he doesn't actually look. I think it would play better. He sees Superman and kind of moves his head to the left of the screen before he turns around and says he's back. Because he sees him, it's like you're kind of gonna react to things that happen. You're not just gonna stand there stoically looking in one direction. You know, Superman flies across the screen or whatever you're looking at flies across the screen, and you don't react to it with a turn of the head or a nod or anything like that. It's my opinion, and like I said, it doesn't ruin the film for me. It's just a thing that I notice, and then my critical brain says, "Why didn't he do that?" You know, and can all be done differently. I would love to know what's going on there, though, and in that place. And looking forward to whatever the next trailer is, and I assume it will have nothing to do with that first scene that's in there, and we'll get maybe more of what's going on here. You know, what's going on with the kaiju, or what's going on. Maybe we get some storyline or something. But we got a couple of phrases, a couple of words, a couple of lines, and people are saying they think they hear Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper, yeah, Bradley Cooper. I hope I'm saying his name. I love the man for a lot of films he's done, um, in stuff that other people don't like. Okay, so but yeah, the, pause it right there. Keep that screen on. And but anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm I am not highly anticipating this movie as if it's going to be something great. I really think that it's a mess, and they messed up very badly. James Gunn had an opportunity. WB had an opportunity. There was a time when all the movies and all the rumors were like, "This is what's going on," and everything was great. It. I mean, in my mind's eye, I was like, "Yes, I can see this happening. These things happening." And I even think at the time I knew James Gunn was on the way, even though I didn't like the idea, because I just don't. Uh, Other videos, look at them. But it just, everything was coming together though. I believe that the next Superman was going to be Henry Cavill, led, direct, not directed as in him was directed, but him being the guiding force for it, knowing what needed to be done with the character and all that. I'm not trying to say I expected Snyder to come back and set up everything. Everything was set up in a way, and everything seemed to be falling back into a place where it could go forward. And then it rumor after rumor, and clear reshot, redo, reconsideration, whatever you want to call it, notes from James Gunn, changes were made to every project. After Black Adam ended, the cameo from Henry Cavill happened. They had everything in place. There, like I said, there was all these different things. There was a cameo coming for the Flash. There was cameos coming for Aquaman with Bruce Wayne in it. There were cameos. There were several cameos that were listed, shot, ready to go. For whatever reason, they are not releasing these deleted scenes, which they should do, so that we can see where they were going. Okay? We should be able to see it. Um, as fans, we ought to be given that allowance. In the meantime, though, I'm going to just say I want to see Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad. Please get that released. That is one of the hashtags that we will be putting on here. I am looking forward to going into the theater and watching this, hopefully with a lot of people in there, and watch it where they, because the rumors anyway, good portion of the crowd saying, this isn't any good, this is messed up, this is taking it too far, this is whatever the negative thing is. And hearing a whole lot of people sit there and say, "Oh no, it was absolutely spectacular and wonderful and great and the best thing that ever was," and James Gunn can do no wrong, and flop in the box office, you know, because regardless of how they're trying to spin it now, this movie has got to capture every fan. And I don't mean that in the extreme thing. I mean it's got to surprise me and make me say, "Oh, that was actually really, really good." And I am glad I was wrong. That this is not going to be a terrible fiasco. That this was not just an enjoyable, fun thing called Superman, but it was actually very well done and very well made, and something that every fan can enjoy. Okay? Sure, there's going to be people that are going to hate it no matter what. I understand. It's about the people that are actually giving it thought. Okay? And I think that you're going to find, this my prediction is that you're going to find people giving it thought are saying, we're getting bad publicity, bad promotions. There's a lot of bad stuff about the film, and we've spoken out about it, and it's still being put out there bad. Okay? So, no matter what you say to me, I'm getting this this is being provided to us. We're not nitpicking. Okay? These pictures come out. The first pictures come out. All right? And we're like, "What is that?" The reaction's legitimate. And then the reaction saying this is also wonderful and spectacular. They knew they were wrong. They knew they couldn't really say it was all wonderful and spectacular. And they had to say, well, this is just the first suit. And they gave all kinds of theories as to why it was a bad choice for a first picture. Okay? That's what's going on. That is what is happening. And every time they release something, we're like, man, there's just so many things, we can criticize. Don't give us stuff we can criticize like that. Go back and watch the Man of Steel teaser trailers. Oh my goodness. There's there some of the best that was there's two versions of the audio, okay, from Jonathan Kent or from Jor-El, and just beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. And then the few trailers, they came magnificent. They were criticized for putting it out too early. And we had to wait a long time for it. That's true. But my goodness, the fantastic trailers. Man of Steel, absolute masterpiece of a movie. Uh, so if you want to fight me on that, I don't mind. I can take up that fight. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm still disillusioned by it, and I don't care. I'm not as far gone as some people are now, because, like I said, this is just what we keep being given. There's some things that I like. Obviously, there's things that are enjoyable. There's also it's just what it is. What has been given. I've already talked about it, and I see the obvious, there's common sense that could be given to some things, and make some changes that would increase my belief in the film exponentially. That there's some common sense looking at that. And it's hard for me to believe that there have been so many, apparently, so many screenings, and nobody is crying out about what I see. Uh, and I'll mention again, the suit needs to be torn. He's in that big of a fight. Tear up the suit. Do it CGI. Do it however you want to do it. But get it in there. It's just too obvious. Go look at the Death of Superman comic book and stuff like that, and other comic books where he's fighting. Even just severe fighting with in suits that would stand up to a lot of scrutiny, a lot of damage, as it were. Like the Man of Steel suit was built the way that I would assume would take a lot of damage. Okay, so just go back and look at some of that stuff. It's just painfully obvious to me, some of this, that there should be that damage um, shown. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I can't keep going on with this. Um, it's exceeded really the length of a review and all that. But what do you think about it? You can comment below. I won't call you stupid or anything like that. But if you try to defend the indefensible, then we might have a reply to that. I think that everything can be explained. Somebody says it's going to explain it all in the movie. Well, that's not the job of trailers and stuff like that, to introduce all this questionable stuff. You know, you put your best foot forward and say, this is what we've got going on. Everything we have that's questionable, we'll explain to you in the movie. Yeah, well, introduce it in the movie then, okay? So, that's how you do stuff like that. Well, that's how I think it should be done. If you haven't seen the Naked Gun trailer, I did not do a review of it or reaction. Not going to. I think it looks funny though. And gonna watch that, and I'm gonna watch this too. So if I see you in the theater, then we'll have a good time. If I'm alive still at that time, obviously, then that's what we'll be doing. Probably see it several times in the theater. And if it's good, I'll be seeing it a whole lot of times and come back with a review and say, hey, it was really good. But I'll come back and be honest with you, whatever the result is of um, the screening, the viewing that I get to see. I did do a review on Snow White Co-Watch. That I'm not sure. I think it's possible that Rotten Tomatoes has deleted my review again. So let's see. 1 second here. There I am. 95 ratings. And sure enough, they have deleted Snow White again. I reviewed Love Hurts, Novocaine, Death of a Unicorn, The Beekeeper, A Working Man. I even reviewed Locked and so forth. Snow White, they have deleted my review. Got to be at least 15 times now. And just ridiculous. And they're just, look at this again. Verified. Oh, wow. All audience. They won't verify that I'm verified. It's crazy. I said I've seen the movie twice. Um, they're down to 19% on all audiences, 29% on top critics, 40% on all critics. Um, but yeah, they just keep deleting my review. Post it once more. I don't get it. Why would they do that? That that I'm nobody special, so you know Disney or Rotten Tomatoes, whoever it is, that is just uncalled for. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I cannot continue with another type of review. We're done. A little bit less than an hour. Hope that you watch the whole thing. Like it and subscribe if you like. Make comments. Yeah, no, I'm saying a lot more than I really should. Lighting's pretty bad in this one, but gonna live with it. And we'll see you again in the next video. Uh, the next video. Well, next video might be me and my friend talking about the same thing. I'm gonna try to talk a lot less. See what we can get done. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.